Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy Tactics, The War of the Lions. In our last episode, Ramza completed telling his flashback of his early days fighting alongside Delita Hyral. Now, after the tragedy at Fort Zeekden, he's become a mercenary, assisting with the protection of Princess Ovelia, who was just kidnapped by Delita, who had been thought dead. With Lady Agrias determined to pursue the kidnappers, Ramza has pledged to aid her, and his fellow mercenary Gafgarian has reluctantly agreed to accompany them. Let's take a moment and look at our chronicle because it has updated since we are now in a new chapter of the game. So let's start off with Ramza, who, as you may notice, no longer has the name Beowulf next to him. Ramza Lugria, age 17. A member of a sellsword company led by Gafgarian. Disillusioned by the tragedy at Zeekden, he left the Order of the Northern Sky to become a mercenary. He has severed ties with House Beowulf and taken his mother's family name. Now, none but Gafgarian know of his noble roots. He continues to fill his days with the clash of weapons in the hope of finding some direction. And what about Delita? We thought he died in that explosion. A childhood friend of Ramza, although thought to have perished in an explosion at Zeekden Fortress, he was later discovered to have survived. He reappeared as one of the kidnappers who abducted Princess Ovelia from Orbone Monastery. Why Delita has chosen to align himself with the Order of the Southern Sky is a mystery. Now what about this Princess Ovelia? We only met her very briefly. Ovelia Atkasha, age 16, was adopted by the late King Andoria III after he lost his second son, but is actually the true-born daughter to the former monarch, Denamda IV, and half-sister to Andoria III. Soon after entering the Atkasha royal family, a third son, Prince Orinus, was born to the queen, and Ovelia was entrusted to Duke Larg. Okay, that sheds a little bit more light on the whole succession struggle. As you remember, the king and queen had two sons who died very young, so it looks like after that, she was adopted, I guess, to provide an heir. She was then going to be the next in line for the throne. But after another son was born, Prince Orinus, she was no longer in line to succeed, and so was entrusted to Duke Larg. I assume that's why she was living in that monastery. As for Alma, there's not much new to say about her, except for she's begun to question the motives of her two eldest brothers after losing Tietra and Delita in the tragedy at Zeekden Fortress. There's nothing new to say about Lord Zalbag, Lord Dysadarg, Duke Larg, or Duke Goltana. But what about Prince Orinus? Orinus Atkasha, age 2, the third son born to King Andoria III and Queen Luveria. As their first two children died shortly after birth, Prince Orinus is heir to the throne of Ivalis. As he is yet an infant, a regent is to be appointed to govern in his stead. Dukes Larg and Goltana are even now preparing to clash over this coveted position. And you can see where possession of another claimant to the throne, namely that princess, might come in handy if a succession struggle is going on, as the two dukes are gearing up for what looks to be a conflict. What about the queen? Luveria Atkasha, age 28, the wife of King Andoria III of Ivalis and true-born sister of Duke Larg. Luveria became queen at 20 years of age and gave birth to 3 sons. The first 2 children died shortly after birth, leaving the infant Prince Orinus as the only heir to the throne. After the king's death, the queen quickly disposed of any who stood in her way, even members of the royal family. What about that King Andoria III? The 18th monarch in the Atkasha line, Andoria III, was crowned after Denamda IV's death from illness in the final days of the 50 Years' War. In stark contrast to his predecessor, who personally led men into battle, Andoria III was frail, weak-willed, and generally ill-suited to his position. He contracted the Black Death and died after 7 days and nights of fevered suffering. We already know mostly about Argath, but it does mention here that he was killed at Zeekden Fortress during a campaign to eliminate the Corpse Brigade. What about this Gafgarian that's the leader of our mercenary group? Gafard Gafgarian, age 53, a sellsword hired by the Order of the Northern Sky to escort Princess Ovelia to Aegros. So Larg wanted her delivered into his more personal possession where he could keep better control over her, it looks like. But the Order of the Southern Sky, led by, Duke Goltana's men, kidnapped her, or at least people wearing their colors. He once served as a division commander in the Order of the Eastern Sky in the 50 Years' War, but at war's end, Gafgarian was expelled from the Order as a result of the barbarism of the methods he employed to ensure victory. So that tells us a little bit more about his character. Maybe he's sort of a anything-goes sort of guy, the ends justify the means. What about Lady Agrias? Agrias Oaks, age 21, is a noble and fiercely loyal female knight serving in the Lion's Guard, the crown's personal shields. Tensions between Dukes Larg and Goltana after the death of Andoria III led to fears for Prince Ovelia's safety, and the council dispatched Lady Agrias to Orbon Monastery as a guard. She sympathizes with the princess for having to live a sequestered life. Elder Simon, we met him briefly at the monastery. Simon Pen Lachish, age 77, the elder of Orbon Monastery and a renowned theologian, Elder Simon is a devout member of the Church of Glabados. Although he once served as a church inquisitor, a certain incident led to his retirement, whereupon he withdrew to the remote sanctuary of Orbon Monastery. He was both a teacher and a loving father figure to Princess Ovelia. Well, we already know most of the things about Wygraf, but it is worth noting that he has not been seen since the battle at Zeekden. We already know about the Marquis Elm Door and Saint Ajora. Tietra Hyral. We know that she was taken hostage after a failed assassination attempt by the Corpse Brigade on Lord Dysadarg, and she was then killed by Argoth Thadalphus at Zeekden Fortress. We know everything about Lord Barbaneth, about Gustav, about Melyuda, but as for Gragoroth, in the final battle with the Order of the Northern Sky, he was killed trying to escape with her as a shield. And that brings us up to date on all of the characters so far. So we're here at Orbon Monastery, and we know that Princess Ovelia was just kidnapped, and Ramza has pledged to help Lady Agrias recover her. Partly because it's the right thing to do, but also because he wants to find out how did Delita survive, and how is he involved in all of this. So let's continue on our way. Let's head to this town, the merchant city of Dorter, and we can re-equip, perhaps upgrade our character's equipment and get some more items. And then we'll see where we can go from there. Oh, it looks like a battle's about to start in the town. Well, let's bring out our usual company of knights and our white mage. And that's all we're going to have room for, because I believe we're still going to have two guest characters, Gafgarian and Agrias. And if it's anything like the first battle with them, they'll be a big help. So once again, we're fighting at Dorter. This is the second time we fought a battle in this city. Here on this street, it looks like two men are meeting. A knight and what looks like a thief. The knight says, "A purse of 500 gil per head." "'Tis coin I lack, not wits. 2,000, or you can stick them yourself." "Mayhap you forget the ease with which men are branded heretics." "Threats, is it? 1,000, then." 700. I can offer no more. "Done. Let it never be said that I was aught but a pious man." So it looks like the other man may be somebody from the church. He's able to threaten religious consequences for non-compliance here. But he looks like he's hiring this thief to kill people. Maybe us. "I pray your newfound piety lends not itself to mercy. They will be here soon, and I shudder to think of your fate should any of them survive." Speak of the devil. Of course, that's what he says. No sooner speak the devil's name than he doth appear. You've work to do. Best be about it. And the mysterious man withdraws. But the thief is upset. "Gods be good, that's Sir Gafgarian! 700 a head for this?" He knows he should have charged more. "An ambush! This day goes lovelier by the hour." "If you not fight, the road home lies behind you." Well, I make no habit of charity. I cannot well abandon so goodly a wrench to rogues. Do not patronize me, sir. Alright, we're in a fight for our lives. Our objective to defeat all enemies. I see at least 2 mages, 2 archers, and I believe 2 thieves. So 6 enemies are waiting for us. Gafgarian's going to go first on our side, and he's not close enough to attack yet, but he moved up a little bit. Alright, let's go ahead, as always, and use our Squire ability of Tailwind to increase our speed and gain some job points. And we will move just forward right to about here. Alright, Agris is going to move up as well. And use her ability. Looks like she's casting. Go ahead and try to put up the turn list here. So that archer tried to attack my knight, but he was able to block with his shield. Currently, Agrias is going to cast a spell called Umbra. I'm not familiar with that one, but let's see what happens. Alright, 3 of the other enemies are going to get to go first, though, so let's allow that to continue. Oh, looks like she hit my white mage. It's hard to see with the buildings here. That mage is going to cast something on somebody. And I guess the other mage is going to do the same thing. Alright, we need to check the turn list to see what's going to happen to us. Alright, all these characters are going to go first. Then one of the mages is going to cast Fira. We need to be able to adjust our vision here. Alright. Fira is going to be cast on this square, hitting both Gafgarian and Ramza if neither of them move. Then another fire spell will be cast to the right of Gafgarian, hitting him if he does not move. Looks like Ramza is not going to have a chance to move before that, so Ramza is going to get hit by that first fire spell, and Gafgarian is going to get hit by both. Alright, so let's move this knight up. If I go here, here, or here, I will get hit by a spell, but I can go all the way up here and attack this archer, so let's do that. As for my other knight, looks like he's not able to get close to any enemies. But what he can do is he can move over here and heal. Not sure why it's not allowing me to move. We'll go ahead and use a potion on the white mage. We'll face this way. Now as for my white mage, now that he's full of hit points, let's go ahead and cast... I don't have Shell, which will protect against magic attacks, but I do have Protect. Let's go ahead and cast that. I'd like to cast that on Ramza. Just to protect him from any physical attacks going forward a little bit more. Alright, here's Agrias' spell Umbra. Let's see what that does. Alright, it blinds people, but by moving up into its range, my own knight got blinded. I should have taken a look at the range of it before I moved him up. That's my own fault. Alright, but Ramza's protected, and so that should help him out a little bit. It won't protect him from the fire spell, but it'll protect him afterwards. Alright, not too bad of a hit. But let's see how Gafgarian fares with the second spell. Alright, he's going after my knight. But my knight was able to counterattack. Gafgarian's going to probably use his typical attack, Shadow Blade, which not only drains life from the enemy, but then gives it to him. He's able to heal himself using his attack. We don't really need to worry about Gafgarian's hit points. Alright, Ramza's up. Let's go ahead and use our monk abilities here. I'm going to use Aura Blast on this thief. We want to keep getting as many job points as we can in the monk job so that we can continue to learn new skills there. Alright, Agris is using her Judgment Blade. And it casts Stop on the thief, as well as injuring him severely. Alright, she's going to go ahead and charge up an attack. And the other archer attacked my white mage, so I might have to be careful with his hit points. We'll have to take a look at that. Alright, and that black mage is attacking Ramza and Agrias with a spell. Let's double check the turn list again. Alright, Ramza gets to go beforehand. There's a cure spell going off on all of his friends there. And then fire, which is probably targeting Ramza directly. So we need to make sure Ramza's healed before the next turn. Let's go ahead and kill this one mage. I should be able to do it with just one hit. And that mage is down. Alright, now the fire spell is the only one we have to worry about. I cannot move close enough to attack any enemies, and I don't want to move right next to Ramza or I'll get hit. So once again, let's go ahead and use a potion on our white mage. Awesome, and he gained a job level for it. As for my white mage, let's use our white magic. We have a... If I use Cura, it'll go off after the fire spell. If I use Cure, it'll go off beforehand. How many hit points does Ramza have? 64. Let's give him a little bit of a buffer by using the regular Cure spell on him. It'll also help Agris as well. And we're going to go ahead and move my mage over here. As for Ramza, he's going to stay put. He's going to use his martial arts again to finish off this thief. And nothing to do but to wait for the spell. Great, that should be more than enough to keep us safe from that fire spell that's about to go off. Ramza shouldn't be in too bad shape now. Uh-oh, they're going after my white mage again. And that casts silence on him. That's going to affect his ability to cast spells. I don't like that at all. Well, Gafgarian took care of that other archer for me, at least. Alright, Ramza's going to move up. The bigger threat, in my opinion, is this mage still. So let's move up here. We'll use our martial arts again. An 85% chance to do 32 damage. Let's see what happens. It worked. Alright, Agras is up. And she's going to use her Judgment Blade again. As you can see, that has an area of effect as well. If we had soldiers in line with that attack, we would get hit just along with right along with the enemies there. We have to be very careful about that sort of thing. Alright, he's casting another spell on us. Let's see where that is in the turn list. Eleazar gets to go right now, then Weiston, and finally Francis, but none of us are going to get to go, the people being hit by fire. So I need to make sure to heal Ramza while I still have a chance. I can give him a high potion, but then I'm going to get hit by the spell. Or no, actually, I'm sorry, if it's hitting all three of these... Let's verify. Yeah, standing next to Ramza will be safe. we're going to go ahead and use a high potion and heal Ramza for quite a bit. That'll protect him from that fire spell. My other knight's going to move up and start attacking this thief who's been harassing my white mage. Good solid hit. But those thieves have a lot of hit points. Now, my white mage isn't not able to cast because that white mage used an anti-mage knife on him. What I can do, though, is I can use a high potion on myself. Actually, I don't need a high potion, I'm sorry. A regular potion will do. And we'll just wait here. Protect wore off. And here comes the fire spell. Only a minor amount of damage, and that mage is in bad shape. Alright, he's going to attack my white mage again. And probably move off. I was hoping that Ramza would have a chance to kill off that mage, but Gafgarian is greedy. Alright, let's see. Who has more hit points? She has 59. And the thief has... They have equal numbers of hit points. This one's more of a threat right now to my white mage, so let's move right over here. Oh, he's just out of range for that. I should have been more careful with planning out my moving. That's fine. Let's use a Tailwind, so we at least can do something. We'll go ahead and move up, and we will use a potion on Ramza. As for Araguay, it looks like she's going after that archer. She's casting a spell. She's going to cast Umbra again. Alright, let's go ahead and bring my knight up, and we'll attack this archer. Ooh, a critical hit, and we gain a job level for it. As for this knight, he's going to go ahead and attack this one. Alright, he's in bad state, but he has an ability called Gill Sapper. Apparently he gains gil for being hit. Alright, because of this spell, it's probably going to hit herself, because that archer moved up into range. It's blinding Agrias, the archer, and my knight. It didn't affect the knight, luckily, but... Alright, I'm worried about my mage here. He does not have a lot of hit points left. But Gafgarian is going to finish off the battle here. Oh, he's going to go after the archer, I'm sorry. I thought he was going to go after that thief. Alright, looks like Ramza is going to be the last one to go here. Let's use our Aura Blast one last time. We cannot linger. We must find Lady Ovelia. And how shall we do that? Call out her name and hope she comes running. Her captors have but one place to go. The impenetrable walls of Fort Bessalat. Then we must lose no time. Well, it looks like we have a destination in mind now. Fort Bessalat. Alright, we got for this battle 6,800 bonus coin. Our battle trophies are 1,000 gil, a flame rod, and a mage masher, and a phoenix down. The mage masher was that knife that thief used to cast silence on my mage. That's a very useful item. Alright, new paths are opening up in front of us. The Araguay Woods, Zirshell Falls, and then Fort Bessalat. Before we go there, let's take a moment to look around the town. let's go into the outfitter and, actually, I'm sorry, let's look at our characters first and see what we have in terms of our items and abilities. Alright, let's see how Ramza's doing in terms of his, new abilities. Well, we're just short of being able to learn Shockwave. We only need 5 more job points. One more battle and we'll be there. So let's hold off on buying anything new for Ramza at this point. Is there anything new he can learn under the Squire ability? Doesn't look like it. We don't need to learn Defend. Although learning Parry might be useful. Currently he has Counter Tackle. We'll go ahead and grab Parry as an alternative. That way, instead of taking damage and then countering attacking, while we won't counterattack, we can possibly avoid the damage in the first place. Alright, as for my knights here, he could learn Parry as well. I'd like to hold off on purchasing anything in Monk for him just yet. We'll eventually get there. And looks like there's not really anything else for this person to learn. We'll go ahead and do the same thing and assign Parry. Apologies for the cut here. The game was running a little choppy and I had to correct some settings. But as I was saying, we're looking at this character. We're going to go ahead and add Parry to his abilities as well. We're going to do that for all of my knights. And the same thing goes for his monk abilities. We're going to keep saving up until we learn some better abilities. As for our white mage, I'd like to keep saving up long enough for him to get the shell spell. We already have protect to protect against physical attacks, but being able to protect against magic is also going to be very useful. Sorry, hold on one moment. There we go. Let's go ahead and grab that ability. And now we're going to have the ability to protect against magical attacks as well. With the 47 points I have left, I don't think we can get anything useful just yet. So we'll hold off. One last ability that we might want to go ahead and purchase in the world of chemists is Treasure Hunter. If we equip Treasure Hunter instead of some other ability like Move +1, then if our characters stop on certain squares in the battlefield, it will allow us to find hidden treasures there. I'm not going to do that just yet because I'd like these characters to learn other abilities like, for example, the ability to remove silence from our mages. The Echo Orbs, for example, are useful for that. So we're going to hold off just yet, but we will eventually get that ability. Alright, and for now, we weren't able to bring our Black Mage into battle, so she wasn't able to get any increases in her abilities. As for our equipment, we haven't picked up anything better in the last battle, it looks like. So we'll go ahead and stop in town now and see if there's anything better for sale in the outfitter. Alright, Ramza can get better armor. It'll give him 6 extra hit points. We'll grab that. Our knight can get a better shield. That'll increase our defense somewhat. Same thing for our other knight. Now our white mage can get better armor, but also if you notice he has a better helmet. The armor gives him more hit points, but the helmet takes away magic points. So let's go ahead and put back that helmet for now. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing for our black mage. We don't want to be sacrificing magic points at this part of the game. Alright, let's go ahead and buy some more items. I want to have at least 5 of every useful item, even if we can't use them yet. 10 Phoenix Downs is fine. Let's have at least 10 high potions. Oh, we're out of gold, it looks like. Let's go ahead and sell some of our other items to have something to buy with. Sell off our extra shields, our extra swords that we're not using. I don't have anybody who can use the Mage Masher for right now, and we'll hang on to the Flame Rod, because that could be useful for some of our characters. Sell off extra helm and extra armor that we don't need. Fantastic. Alright, and then while we're at it, let's go ahead and purchase, make sure we have enough potions. I'd like to own at least 50 of them. That's not too much money. It's good to have 5 antidotes. And make sure we have at least some of everything else. And I would like to have 10 high potions if we can afford it. Perfect, that puts us in good shape. Let's buy some of these shurikens. I don't know if anybody can use those just yet. But we'll bring those along as well. Alright, and lastly, let's look in the tavern. Are there any new rumors? In the wake of the king's demise. Since the death of King Andoria III, Queen Luveria's campaign to seize total control of the government has proceeded apace. All who oppose her, even members of the council, are mercilessly stripped of their rank. Even the Queen Mother, who had openly criticized the actions of her son's wife, was banished to Bunahan, never to return. Her fate is unknown, although some say she was poisoned. What about the Dukes, Larg and Goltana? Duke Larg, trueborn brother of Queen Luveria, and Duke Goltana, cousin of the late king, are locked in a fierce political struggle for the control of Ivalis. Both men hope to be appointed guardian of Prince Orinus, and thus gain the title and authority of regent. Although the queen supports Duke Larg, a goodly number of nobles and council members appear to back Duke Goltana, and there are rumors he may be officially appointed regent ere long. What about widespread peasant revolt? Peasants riot throughout Duke Goltana's province of Zeltenia. This sudden outbreak of civil unrest stems from the unanticipated loss of crops due to last year's drought, coupled with the burden of taxes that have been steadily rising since the end of the 50 Years' War. A group of former knights calling itself the Order of the Ebon Eye appears to be fomenting the violence even as Baron Grimm's Black Ram's knights struggle to contain it. So it looks like they're dealing with a situation similar to what we dealt with the Corpse Brigade in Duke Larg's area. Interesting. Alright, well, let's get on our way. We need to make our way to this fort if we're going to have any hope of rescuing Princess Ovelia. Our first stop is the Araguay Woods. Once again, of course, we will bring our knights, and we only have room for one more character, so let's bring our white mage so we can continue learning those useful abilities. Alright, we're fighting in the Araguay Woods. And I can see a chocobo surrounded by what looks like several goblins. The black goblin says, "Hob gob, gob hob." They're closing in. That chocobo does not look happy. Bark. But they're concerned by the arrival of someone. I wonder if it's us. Gob? Gob! I've not seen a chocobo so deep in the woods. An addle-pated bad to wander in this goblin-riddled place. So we have a choice. If I say we should be on our way through the wood, we'll just leave, and we will not fight this battle. But perhaps we could use this chocobo if we save him. Delita once mentioned that wild chocobos were hardier than domesticated breeds. Perhaps we could use him. You intend to save the creature? I'd rather line my purse with gil than feathers. Still, it may help us save the princess. So our objective, then. Protect the chocobo. I see 6 goblins that are going to try to prevent us from doing that. As always, looks like Gafgarian's going to go first. He has a very high speed value. And he's going to just Shadow Blade that first goblin. Alright. Ramza's going to go first. Anything he does should be enough to give us that three job points that we need. So I'm going to move him right here. 1, 2. I think if I go here, I should be in range to hit him with my Shadow Fist. Or rather, I'm sorry, Aura Blast. I don't know why I said Shadow Fist. And that gives us 27 job points, which should be more than enough to get the next ability after this battle. And that goblin is hurt. The Chocobo is hiding for now. That's a good defensible position. Only one enemy can attack at a time there. That was a very smart move on the part of the Chocobo. Okay, Agris is going to use one of her abilities. I noticed that it has a range there, so we are not going to want to step right over here. Is she using Umbra again? Yes, she is. Okay. Alright, let's move my knights forward. And I can't do anything specifically yet, so we'll just move him forward for now. Then he'll have to wait. As for my other knight, same thing. We'll just have to move him up. However, my white mage, go ahead and cast Protect. Right around, I'm going to step right next to that knight there. And this will protect, hopefully, both the knight and Ramza. Okay, that goblin was blinded. That should severely affect his ability to inflict damage on us. Alright, the enemies are closing in now. I notice that they're leaving the Chocobo alone. That's good. Here comes Protect. It worked on Gafgarian. It missed Ramza, but it worked on the Knight, so that's enough to give him some job points. He gained a level for it. Looks like Gafgarian's going to finish off that first goblin for us. Alright, as for Ramza, let's move in. We'll move next to this goblin here and we'll attack him directly. I can do 30 damage with the direct attack. Or 32 with my Aura Blast. And we'll just use a regular attack. And the Chocobo is just going to hide. Okay, now the goblins are going after it. I don't know if this is too far of a distance from 3 to 0 to hit him, so I'm going to instead move over to this goblin here and attack him from the side. Good solid hit. As for my other knight, we'll come and attack from the front. It may not work, but we'll do our best here. And another foe is down. As for Agrias, she's going to use her Judgment Blade. Okay, for now, I don't know why my white mage always tends to not have full hit points. But we'll go ahead and cast Cure on ourselves, just to get some more job points out of it. He's not really needed right now for anything else. Alright, that goblin's going after Ramza. That's a real minor attack. Ramza can easily tank these 12 and 15 hit point hits. Great, some more job points for my white mage. Alright, the Chocobo is going to go ahead and attack his enemy with Chocobeak. Once again, Gafgarian just dominating the battlefield. But we can't let him take all the credit, so let's see if we can move in close enough to finish off this goblin here. There we go. And Ramza gained a level. Alright, that goblin's going to use a spin punch again. But this time he'll move... Oh, I thought he was going to move away, but he's not. Alright, well, that means we get to bring the battle right to him. I want to take a look at this Chocobo's hit points. He has 30 left. So we need to bring this battle to an end pretty quickly if we can. I can't hit that goblin, so instead I'll go after this one right here. Another enemy down. When our job is to protect a certain character, we can't even allow that character to faint. You don't even have a chance to resurrect them. We can't let that Chocobo fall below 0 hit points. I'm not going to be able to do anything with my white mage yet, but I will start moving him up. Maybe he can cure anybody? Looks like nobody's in range, so he's just going to have to wait a turn. He'll go ahead and cast Shell on himself just to have something to do. And unfortunately, it didn't go off. It missed. Alright, but the Chocobo is going to go ahead and finish off this goblin, I believe. And that leaves that Chocobo in a perfectly defensible position. No one can get up to him now. At this point, it's just a matter of time. This battle should be a foregone conclusion. But he just blinded Ramza, unfortunately. Alright. I have a 100% chance of hitting him using Arbalast, so let's go ahead and do it. And we'll go ahead and move back here. At this point, there's nothing for any of my other people to do. There's only one enemy remaining. And Gafgarian's just going to finish it off before anybody else gets a chance to move. The Chocobo's going to wisely heal himself, though. Let's go ahead and give a potion to Ramza. And now Gafgarian's going to go ahead and finish the battle for us. There we go. Whack. He seems well enough. A lucky one, this. Let's hope he's got a sense of gratitude, eh? And the battle is won. We get a bonus of 5,700 gil and a high potion as a battle trophy. And the Chocobo, Boko, joins the team. Let's take a look at our party real quick. Now notice that there is a Chocobo on our team. Now Chocobo are different than other units. they don't really have abilities that they can learn. They can't change jobs. They're just chocobos. But what they can do is, chocobos can, over time, they can level up through combat, of course, but they can also lay eggs. And as they lay eggs, they can give birth to different kinds of chocobos, not just the traditional yellow chocobo that can run around, peck, and heal itself. There are purple chocobos, red chocobos, some of them can fly around the field for greater movement. Some of them can summon meteors. I believe you can even ride some of the types of chocobos as a mount on the battlefield. So having this guy here in our party will be useful later. He's going to start giving us new possible things that we can bring into our party. Let's quickly take a look at our abilities. It's finally time. Ramza has enough points to learn Shockwave. As for anything else, right now, nothing really worth taking. He can finally, he could learn Salve, which helps with a lot of those status elements like Blind, but he's not using the Squire ability right now at all. He's just using items. So it's not really worth it yet. As for my other knight, let's go ahead and teach him Shell, so if we ever decide to make him into a mage, he can be useful. Neither of them really have enough to learn anything useful in Monk just yet. And as for my white mage, well, we're gonna have to save up a little bit more because all of his abilities now are much more expensive. However, we can now add eye drops to the types of items we can wield. So we'll go ahead and grab that. Okay, that puts us in a pretty good position. Our next step will be to go to the Zirshel Falls and then onward to Fort Besilat, which Agres believes is the only place that they could be holding Princess Ovelia. And that's what we'll be doing in our next episode. In our next episode, we're continuing our pursuit of Princess Ovelia's kidnappers. I'll see you then.